Alrighty. Hopefully this will be for October 29th or October 30th. But today we're talking about River Phoenix. He's one of my favorite actors. Very tragic. He died too young.
Just messing around.
Alright. So, River Jude Phoenix. Born August 23rd, 1970, and died October 31st, 1993. Was an American actor and musician and animal activist. He was the older brother of Rain Phoenix and Jaquan Phoenix, right?
Joaquin.
I knew it was something weird. I couldn't think of it. Liberty Phoenix and Summer Phoenix. Their parents were old hippies, so the names are a little odd.
But that's okay, because we love their names.
But you remember quickly went into the cults and his family was part of the cult.
We love their names. Right? Phoenix was born on August 23rd, 1970 in Madras, Oregon. Where the fuck is Madras, Oregon?
It's Medford, isn't it?
It says Madras.
Oh, it is Madras. I think it's over by Portland.
First child of Arlen Dunnitz and John Lee Bottom. Bottom. Hi, my name is River Bottom. Get it? River Bottom. It's funny.
I would change my name too.
It's funny. It's funny. I thought it was funny. Y'all might think it's funny too.
Let's see, they married... Wait, where were you at?
I literally read the first one with the dot and no... Yeah.
Phoenix's parents named him after the river of life above the Herman Hesse novel Sadaratha, and he received his middle name from the Beatles song Hey Jude. In an interview with People, Phoenix described his parents as hippie-ish.
Hippie-ish?
They were hippies.
Hippie-ish. Not hippies. Hippie-ish.
It just means they're kind of hippies, but sorry, River, but...
His mother was born in the Bronx, New York, to Jewish parents whose families had immigrated from Russia and Hungary.
His father was a lapsed Catholic from Fontana, California, of English, German, and French ancestry.
You hear her?
What is wrong with you, whiny Hermione?
That's where Madras, Oregon is.
Okay, by Bend.
Yeah. So it's probably about halfway between us and Portland.
Yeah.
A little bit. A little more
Just about
towards
3 hours
Portland.
from here.
The point is, it's not near us.
He's still in Oregon.
Agreed. In 1968, sorry. In 1968, Phoenix's mother left her family in New York City and traveled across the United States. While hitchhiking in Northern California, she met John Lee Bottom.
Aww.
And they fell in love and had 50 children.
Did not. They married on September 13th, 1969, less than a year after meeting.
Ow. Phoenix's family moved cross country when he was very young. Phoenix was raised in Canopy, Florida, a small suburb of Gainesville, where they lived in poverty. So I don't know, because you couldn't see it on the video, but she flicked me, and I want to call spousal abuse.
Phoenix has stated that they lived in a desperate situation. Just Phoenix often played guitar while he and his sister sang on street corners for money and food to support their ever-growing family.
Ever-growing? How many kids do they have? 50? Really?
You bastard dirty paws. What the hell are you doing?
What the Why is she right here? Look at this.
Why is
She's
she
right
wet?
here. I don't know. Oh, God. Did she just get piss and litter all over my pillow?
Probably went to the litter box and peed on her paw. Or she stuck her paw in someone.
I don't know, but I don't want to know.
Kittens are fun.
No, they're not. Phoenix Lake never attended formal school. Screenwriter Naomi Fauner later commented he was totally without education. I mean, he could read and write, but he had an appetite, for it. But he had no deep roots into any kind of sense of history or literature. Was this back before parents could, had to put their kids in school of some kind?
I think they probably used the whole excuse, I'm homeschooling.
Yeah, but back before homeschooling was, normal.
George Sluicer claimed Phoenix was dyslexic.
Sluicer? It's just a weird name. Sluicer. Don't worry. In 1973, the family joined a controversial Christian new religious movement called the Children of God as missionaries.
Which, if you remember, we did a special on that and other cults. The family had settled in Caracas, Venezuela.
Caracas.
It looks like Caracas.
Okay, what is Caracas?
Where the Children of God had stationed them to work as missionaries and fruit gatherers. The Children of God. They wind up like little boys, little girls.
Although Phoenix rarely talked about the cult, he was quoted by Arlen Phoenix in a 1994 Esquire article as having said, "They're disgusting. They're ruining people's lives." According to Vanity Fair magazine, Phoenix was raped at the age of 4. In an interview with Details magazine in November of 1991, Phoenix stated he lost his virginity at age 4 while in the Children of God, but I've blocked it out.
You wonder why he turned to drugs and was messed up.
I'm sorry, you can't lose your virginity if it's not something you want. In my personal opinion. If you're raped, it's not losing your virginity.
Arlene and Joustin eventually grew disillusioned with the Children of God. Arlene would later tell a journalist that she and her husband were opposed to the group's practice of flirty fishing, stating the group was being distorted by the leader, David Burke, who was getting powerful and wealthy. He sought to attract rich disciples through sex. And no way.
Oh, my
That's a quote
God.
from her.
Oh, that was a quote from her.
The group was being destroyed by the leader.
In the late 1970s, Rivers' family moved in with Arlen's parents, in Florida. The family officially changed their name to Phoenix after the mythical bird that rises from its own ashes, symbolizing a new beginning.
Phoenixes are pretty birds.
I'm going to get one tattooed on me.
Looks like this dude never tattooed. Back in the United States, Arlene began working as a secretary for the NBC broadcaster and John as an exterior architect. Talent agent Iris Burton spotted River. How'd you say his name?
Joaquin.
100 have to remember that. Other sisters, Summer and Rain, singing for Spare Change in Westwood, Los Angeles, and was so charmed by the family that she soon represented the 4 siblings.
River, Summer, and Rain, and then there's Joaquin.
What the hell? Like, they're gonna give all these other ones hippie names.
River,
And
Summer, and Rain, and then Joaquin. Like, that's so weird. To just give one kid a name that's like, we're gonna spell it like Joaquin, but we're gonna name him Joaquin. Ugh. Oh my goodness. Okay.
I wonder where they got Joaquin.
I don't know.
Maybe we'll have to do a bio on him.
Yeah. Let's do a bio on him too.
And the other siblings are kind of famous too.
River started doing commercials for Mitsubishi, Ocean Spray, and Saks Fifth Avenue, and soon afterward, he and the other children were signed by casting director Penny Marshall from Paramount Pictures.
He was so cute. River and Rain were assigned immediately to a show called Real Kids as warm-up performers for the audience.
Okay. In 1980, Phoenix began to fully pursue his work as an actor, making his first appearance on a TV show called Fantasy, singing with his sister Rain. How sweet.
In 1982, River was cast in the short-lived CBS television series Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, in which he starred as the youngest brother, Guthrie McFadden.
McFadden. Guthrie McFadden.
That's a horrible name.
Hi, my name is Guthrie McFadden.
I like his real name, River Phoenix, but I don't like that.
Hi, my name is Guthrie McFadden. River arrived at the auditions with his guitar and promptly burst into a convincing Elvis Presley impersonation, charming the show producer. By this age, Phoenix was also an accomplished tap dancer. Oh, things I did not know about River Phoenix.
Man of many talents.
Apparently.
Almost a year after Seven Brides ended in 1983, Phoenix found a new role in the 1984 television movie Celebrity, where he played the part of young Jeffy Crawford. Although he was only on screen for about 10 minutes, the character was central.
Okay. Less than a month after Celebrity came the ABC after-school special Backwards, The Riddle of Dyslexia. River starred as a young boy who discovers he has dyslexia, while Keane starred in a small role alongside his brother. In September, the pilot episode of the short-lived TV series It's Your Move aired.
Phoenix was cast as Brian and only had one line of dialogue. He also starred as Robert Kennedy's son, Robert Kennedy Jr., in the TV movie Robert Kennedy and His Times. Huh, I don't know.
Me either. After his role in Dyslexia was critically acclaimed, Phoenix was almost immediately cast as a major role in his next made-for-TV movie, Surviving, A Family in Crisis. He starred as Philip Brogan alongside Molly Ringwald and Heather O'Rourke. Halfway during the filming of Surviving, Iris Burton contacted him about a possible role in the film Explorers.
In October 1984, Phoenix secured the role of geeky boy scientist Wolfgang Mueller in Joe Dante's largest budget science fiction film Explorers, alongside Ethan Hawke.
Hawk.
And productions began soon after. Released in the summer of 1985, this was Phoenix's first major motion picture role.
Ooh. In October of 1986, Phoenix co-starred alongside Tuesday Weld and Geraldine Fitzgerald in the acclaimed CBS television movie Circle of Violence, a family drama, which told the story of domestic elder abuse. This was Phoenix's last television role before achieving film stardom.
Later that year, Phoenix completed Peter Weir's The Mosquito Coast in 1986, playing the son of Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren's characters. He was obviously going to be a movie star, observed Weir. It's something apart from acting ability. Lawrence Oliver never had what River had.
Laurence Oliver?
Must be another actor.
Oh, Laurence Olivier. It's pronounced Olivier. It's not Oliver.
Anyway.
What? I'm just telling you what it is. Why are you picking on me? She doesn't love me, people. I don't know where we are.
You just...
I maybe you skipped one or I skipped one or something. I'm very confused.
Oh yeah, I just did one. At 15, Phoenix had a significant role in Rob Reiner's popular coming-of-age film Stand By Me, which is one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
1986, which made him a household name. The Washington Post opened that Phoenix gave the film its center of gravity. Phoenix commented, "The truth is, I identified so much with the role of Chris Chambers that if I hadn't had my family to go back to after the shoot, I'd have probably had to see a psychiatrist." And
Stand By Me being a Stephen King book made into a movie, by
which
the way.
was the body. The story was called The Body.
Either way, it was good.
And then it went to later that year, Phoenix competed with the Mosquito Coast. And then during the 5-month shoot in Belize, Phoenix began a romance with his co-star Martha Plimpton, a relationship which continued in some form for many years. Now we're back on track.
So where am I now? I'm on the
You're on the regular ones. I just read that
here.
one. Yeah.
Okay. Technical difficulties, people. Sorry.
Oh, Lord.
Phoenix was surprised by the poor reception of the film, feeling more secure about his work in it than he had in Stand By Me.
Talk about the Mosquito Coast.
Right.
Let's see. Phoenix was next cast as a lead in the teen comedy drama A Night in the Life of Jimmy Reardon.
Reardon.
It was filmed in 1988, but was just disappointed with his performance. It didn't turn out the way I thought it would, and I put the blame on myself. I wanted to do a comedy, and it was definitely a stretch, but I'm not sure I was even the right person for the role. And he's more of a serious actor.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Later that year, Phoenix completed Peter Weir's The Mosquito Coast. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. Sorry. In 1988, Phoenix starred in Little Nikita alongside Sidney Poitier. During this time, the Phoenix family continued to move on a regular basis, moving over 40 miles by the time Phoenix was 18. Oh, 40 times. 40 times. That's a lot of times to move.
That is a lot. Phoenix purchased his family a ranch in Micanopy, Florida, near Gainesville in 1987, in addition to a spread in Costa Rica. Boy, that must be nice. I feel they kind of used him.
Oh, of course they used him. His parents were awful people.
They used him all their life. I mean, they were having to panhandle. They didn't panhandle. The kids panhandled for money and food as they were doing their stupid cult. Sorry.
Yep. His sixth feature film was Sidney Lumet's Running on Empty in 1988, in which he was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor as well as for a Golden Globe, and received the Best Supporting Actor honor from the National Board of Review for his role in Running on Empty.
Phoenix jumped to his feet during the ceremony when Kevin Kline beat him for the Oscar. I had to stop River from running to hug Kevin. Rick called his mother Arlene. I never crossed his mind that he hadn't won.
That's weird. That year, he also portrayed a young Indiana Jones in the box office hit Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, directed by Steven Spielberg.
In 1990, Phoenix was photographed by Bruce Weber for Vogue and was spokesperson for a campaign for Gap. This is when he starts becoming a model.
I thought you were only into women there, babe.
You can have a guy crush. I just wouldn't touch him.
You said that my guy crush was weird.
Vin Diesel?
What, and River Phoenix is that much better?
Yeah.
They just look differently. That doesn't mean anything.
I guess because of the feminine features. I'm not really into Vin Diesel masculinity. I like feminine features.
I really think I like Vin Diesel simply because of his muscles. It has nothing to do with the way he looks. I want muscles like that, so it's not that I want to bang him.
I just think your face has some feminine features.
Okay. Records away. In 1991, Phoenix filmed an acclaimed independent picture called Dogfight, co-starring Lily Taylor, and directed by Nancy Savoca, a romantic coming-of-age drama set in San Francisco. Phoenix portrayed a young U.S. Marine on the night before he was shipped off to Vietnam in November of 1963.
Let's see. Taylor remarked that Phoenix suffered because he could not distance himself from his character. He also hadn't gotten into any drugs. He was just drinking then, too. It was different. That was actually a hard part of him, because it was so radically different from who he was. He was such a hippie, and here he was playing the Marine. It actually caused him a lot of discomfort. I don't think he enjoyed that, actually getting into that psyche. I think he took any role he could so he could support his family.
Phoenix met actor Keanu Reeves while Reeves was filming Parenthood with Phoenix's brother Joaquin. However, Phoenix had reportedly auditioned for Bill in Reeves' then current film, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, before the role was taken by Alex Winter.
You imagine
What?
You imagine him in that movie, though?
No. He's not a comedic actor.
So I can see him. Like I said, he was literally auditioning to any fucking video he could just to make money.
Right, but he's still not a comedic actor.
No, he's not. The two starred together for the first time along with Kevin Kline, Tracy Ullman, and Joan Plowright in 1980s.
Jane Plowright.
In 1990s, I Love You to Death, and again in Gus Van Sant's avant-garde film, My Own Private Idaho. In his review for Newsweek, David Anson praised Phoenix's performance. The campfire scene in which Mike awkwardly declares his unrequited love for Scott is a marvel of delicacy. In this and every scene, Phoenix immerses himself so deeply inside his character you almost forget you've seen him before. It's a stunningly sensitive performance, poignant and comic at once.
Avant-garde. Well, you know. For his role in My Own Private Idaho, Phoenix won Best Actor honors at the Venice Film Festival, the National Society of Film Critics, and the Independent Spirit Award. The film and its success solidified Phoenix's image as an actor with edgy leading man potential. In that period, Phoenix was beginning to use marijuana, cocaine, and heroin with some friends.
Wow, we escalated quickly. We went from not doing any drugs to heroin.
This is not good, okay?
Not just that, but we're not going to just take one at a time. We're going to mix them all together and see what happens. In the book, Gus Van Sant wrote about Phoenix. Pink, the director, said clearly that Phoenix was not a regular drug user, but only an occasional one, and that the actor had a more serious problem with alcohol. Phoenix had always tried to hide his addictions because he feared that they might ruin his career, as they did his relationship with Martha Plimpton. Oh, kid.
Very interesting case he is. Right. Phoenix teamed up with Robert Redford and again with Sidney Poitier for the conspiracy espionage thriller Sneakers in 1992. Well, how interesting.
A month later, he began production on Sam Shepard's art house, Ghost Western Silent Tongue, which was released in 1994. He also was beaten out for the role of Paul by Brad Pitt in River Runs Through It.
River Runs Through It was a good one. Which is funny because his name is River. He made a cameo appearance in Van Sant's Even Cowgirls Get the Blues, co-starring his sister Rain. Phoenix then starred in Peter Bogdanovich's country music themed film, The Thing Called Love, the last completed picture before his death in 1993. Phoenix began a relationship with co-star Samantha Mathis on the set.
Although Phoenix's movie career was generating most of the income for his family, it has been stated by close friends and relatives that his true passion was music. See, his family was using him, guys.
Oh, horribly. Phoenix was a singer-songwriter and an accomplished guitarist. He had begun teaching himself guitar at the age of 5 and had stated in an interview for E! In 1988 that his family's move to Los Angeles when he was 9 was made so that he and his sister could become recording artists. I fell into commercials for financial reasons, and acting became an attractive concept. Very interesting.
Prior to securing an acting agent, Phoenix and his siblings tried to forge a career in music by playing cover versions on the streets of the Westwood district of LA, often being moved along by police because gathering crowds would obstruct the pavement. From the first fruits of his film success, Phoenix saved $650 to obtain his prized possession, a guitar, with which he wrote what he described as progressive
Ethereal
folk art, rock.
Really? At the top. While working on A Night in the Life of Jimmy Reardon in 1986, Phoenix had written and recorded a song, Heart to Get, specifically for the end credits of the movie.
20th Century Fox cut it from the completed film, but director William Richard put it back into place for his director's cut some years later. That's messed up. He wrote it for the movie and it took it out.
Well, maybe they didn't ask him to write it.
Or maybe they did and they were being dicks.
That's true. That's possible. It was during the filming that Phoenix met Chris Blackwell of Island Records. This meeting would later secure Phoenix a 2-year development deal with the label. Phoenix disliked the idea of being a solo artist and relished collaboration. Therefore, he focused on putting together a band. Alika's Attic was formed in 1987, and the lineup included his sister Rain. He loves his sister Rain.
Phoenix was committed to gaining credibility by his own merit and maintained that the band would not use his name when securing performances that were not benefits for charitable organizations. Phoenix's first release was Across the Way, co-written with bandmate Josh McKay, which was released in 1989 on a benefit album for PETA titled Tame Yourself.
Ooh. 1991, Phoenix wrote and recorded a spoken word piece called Curry Curry for Milton Nascimento's album TXAI. Also in 1991, the Alika's Attic track Too Many Colors was used in the film My Own Private Idaho, which included Phoenix in a starring role. Did I miss something?
Alika's Attic disbanded in 1982, but Phoenix continued writing and performing while working on the film The Thing Called Love in 1993. Phoenix wrote and recorded the song Lone Star State of Mind, which he performed in the movie.
Hungry. The song was not included in the film's soundtrack album. In 1996, the Alika's Attic track "Note to a Friend" was released on the 1996 benefit album, In Defense of Animals, Volume 2, and featured Flea of Red Hot Chili Peppers on bass.
Phoenix collaborated with friend John Fresnett.
I can't even see what you're looking at. Oh, I don't freaking know.
After his first departure from Red Hot Chili Peppers and the song's Hype Down and Well I've Been was released on Fresnett's sound solo album Smile from the Streets You Hold in 1997.
Interesting. Phoenix was an investor in the original House of Blues, founded by his good friend and Sneakers co-star Dan Aykroyd in Cambridge, Massachusetts, which opened its doors to the public after serving a group of homeless people on Thanksgiving Day, 1992. Isn't that sweet?
In 1990, Phoenix wrote an environmental awareness essay about Earth Day targeted at his young fan base, which was printed in 17 magazine.
In 1990, Phoenix wrote an environmental awareness essay about Earth Day.
Oh wait, did I skip one?
You skipped one and read mine.
Phoenix was a dedicated animal rights, environmental, and political activist. He was a prominent spokesperson for PETA and won their humanitarian award in 1992 for his fundraising efforts.
I'll skip that one and read the next one.
Phoenix was a lifelong vegan. His first girlfriend, Martha Plimpton, recalled once when we were 15, River and I went out for fancy dinner in Manhattan, and I ordered soft-shell crabs. He left the restaurant and walked around in Park Avenue crying. I went out and he said, "I love you so much." Why? He had such pain that I was eating an animal. He hadn't impressed on me what was right.
He financially aided a great many environmental and humanitarian organizations and bought 800 acres of endangered rainforest in Costa Rica, as well as giving speeches at rallies for various groups. Phoenix and his band often played environmental benefits for well-known charities as well as local ones in the Gainesville, Florida area.
He campaigned for Bill Clinton's presidential election.
In late October 1993, Phoenix had returned to Los Angeles from Utah to complete the 3 weeks of interior shots left on his last project, Dark Blood, a film that was finally completed in 2012. That's way after he died.
Mm-hmm. Musician and future drug counselor Bob Forrest, a good friend of Phoenix, in his 2013 memoir, Running with Monsters, gave one of the most detailed accounts of Phoenix's final days and the moments leading up to his death. Forrest said that in the days leading up to his death, Phoenix was staying with Red Hot Chili Peppers guitarist John Fresnett. The two would do large amounts of drugs together, embarking on huge binges, and barely, if ever, slept. He had the drug routine and was constant for all of them. As he was there doing drugs with them, first they would smoke crack or inject cocaine intravenously, then inject heroin in order to come down, enough to be able to carry a conversation for a few minutes before starting the cycle of drugs all over again. So you take an upper and then you take a downer to regulate yourself to do it all over again. In your veins.
That's weird. That's weird.
Yuck.
It's weird. It's weird. So you marked one again.
No, I didn't.
That one and that one are both marked,
Oh.
even though that one shouldn't be marked.
Okay.
On the evening of October 30th, 1993, Phoenix was to perform with the band P, which featured his good friend Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Oh my god. In 1993, he was set to perform with the band P, which featured his good friend Flea. Sorry. Actor Johnny Depp, Gibby Haynes of the Butthole Surfers, along with Al Jorgensen of Ministry at the Viper Room, a Hollywood nightclub party owned at the time by Depp.
Forrest claims that Phoenix and Frosnet arrived at the club together, where they would meet up with Phoenix's girlfriend Samantha Mathis, Phoenix's brother
Joaquin.
and their sister Rain, along with Flea and Depp. After arriving, cocaine was immediately passed around. He said that Phoenix was obviously already high and was, as he put it, unsteady as a boxer who had taken one too many headshots during a 15-round bout. Which I've heard conflicts about this. I heard that he wasn't doing drugs because he was going to be on stage with Flea.
Yeah.
And so he didn't want to be high and perform. But then he got pissed off because they had too many people playing that day. And so they said he couldn't play. And so then he went and got high. I don't know. There's been like a few different weird...
I don't know.
Now the dashes.
Really? During the performance by P, Forrest said that Phoenix tapped him on the shoulder, told him he was not feeling well, and that he thought that he had overdosed. Forrest said to Phoenix that he didn't think he was overdosing because he could stand and talk. Okay.
Doesn't mean he is an overdosing. That's just it. When you inject yourself in the vein with drugs, it's so much easier to OD.
And harder to tell that you are because the symptoms come on like back to back that quick.
You pretty much just shot yourself, basically. It happens so fast. Nonetheless, he offered to take Phoenix home, but Phoenix declined, saying he was feeling better. A few minutes later, Forrest said that a commotion erupted in the club, and he went outside to find Mathis screaming as her boyfriend was laying on the sidewalk having convulsions.
Oh. That's not good. That's no bueno. That's not. Joaquin called 911, but it was unable to determine whether Phoenix was breathing. His sister Rain proceeded to give him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation.
When the ambulance arrived, Phoenix was still alive, and Flea went with him to Cedars-Sinai Hospital.
I'm not high enough up. When Forrest arrived at the hospital, he saw Mathis standing in the hallway crying. It was at this moment that he knew his friend was dead.
Further attempts to resuscitate Phoenix at the hospital were unsuccessful. He was pronounced dead at 1:51 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on the morning of October 31st, 1993, at the age of 23.
So sad.
Imagine being 23.
So sad. 20 years later, Forrest said of Phoenix's death, "I still have guilt that I had dismissed his worries so casually." He also said that at the time, even though he showed empathy and concern, he too was an addict, which is why he didn't discuss the matter, as he was fearful of drawing legal attention towards himself and others for their involvement with controlled substances. Why does that have my name?
Because originally it was going to be an accident.
Oh.
In 2018, Samantha Mathis opened up about Phoenix's death and contradicted some of the information that Forrest had given. Mathis said that she and Phoenix had originally only intended to drop off Phoenix's siblings at the Viper Room, only on the way to her house, but Phoenix decided to stay for a while after he was asked to perform with the band. She insisted that during their time dating, she had known him to be sober. But in the day before he died, Though I knew something was going on, I didn't see anyone doing drugs that night, but he was high in a way that made me feel uncomfortable. She added the heroin that killed him didn't happen until it was in the Viper room. I have my suspicions about what was going on. I didn't see anything. Mathis went to the bathroom, and on her way back to the table saw Phoenix apparently engaged in a scuffle with another person. The bouncers removed both men from the club. Mathis shouted at the other man, "What have you done? What are you on?" Only to be told by another person, "Leave him alone, you're spoiling his high." By that point, according to her account, Phoenix had fallen to the ground and began to convulse. So what did he shoot Phoenix up with? The thing is, too, is there was a bad batch of heroin going around, I heard. That there was a few people that got really, really sick from the batch that was going around.
According to Gibby Haynes, the band was performing their song Michael Stipe while Phoenix was outside the venue having seizures on the sidewalk. When the news filtered through the club, Flea left the stage and rushed outside. By that time, paramedics had arrived on the scene and found Phoenix turning cyanotic, in full cardiac arrest and in asystole. They administered medication in an attempt to restart his heart.
So he's turning blue. That's what cyanotic is, and I'm trying to remember what it's just means. I think that means his pulse was erratic.
It means his blood pressure was
Too low.
too low. Like it dropped completely.
I remember it was one of the two. A sign was placed in the window that read, "With much respect and love to River and his family, the Viper room is temporarily closed. Our heartfelt condolences to all his family and friends, loved ones. He will be missed." Oh, I missed one. The following day, the club became a makeshift shrine with fans and mourners leaving flowers, pictures, and candles on the sidewalk and graffiti messages on the walls of the venue. Now you're back
to the not dashes.
Yeah.
This woman. The club remained closed for a week. Depp continued to close the club every year on October 31st until selling his share in 2004.
Before his death, Phoenix's image, when he bemoaned in interviews, had been squeaky clean, owing in part to his public dedication to his various social, political, humanitarian, and dietary interests. Not always popular in the 1980s, as a result, his death elicited a vast amount of coverage from the media. Phoenix was described by one writer as a vegan, James Dean, and comparisons were made regarding the youth and sudden death of both actors.
The November 15, 1983 autopsy found that toxicology studies showed high concentrations of morphine and cocaine in the blood, as well as other substances in smaller concentrations. The cause of death was acute multiple drug intoxication, including cocaine and morphine.
See, morphine could have been injected without him even wanting it to.
Yeah, because that's...
It doesn't have to be intravenously.
Yeah, you just put it in the arm, don't you?
I think so. On November 24th, 1993, Arlene Hart Phoenix published an open letter in the Los Angeles Times on her son's life and death. It read, in part, "His friends, coworkers, and the rest of our family know that River was not a regular drug user. He lived at home in Florida with us and was almost never a part of the club scene. In Los Angeles, he had just arrived in LA from the pristine beauty and quietness of Utah, where he was filming for 6 weeks. We feel that the excitement and energy of the Halloween nightclub and party scene were way beyond the usual experience and control. How many other beautiful young souls who remain anonymous to us have died by using drugs recreationally. It is my prayer that River's leaving in this way will focus the attention of the world on how painfully the spirits of his generation are being worn down. River made such a big impression during his life on Earth. He found his voice and found his place. and even River, who had the whole world at his fingertips and to listen, felt deep frustration that no one heard. What is it going to take? Chernobyl wasn't enough. Exxon Valdez wasn't enough. A bloody war over oil wasn't enough. If River's passing opens our global heart, then I say thanks, dear beloved son, for yet another gift to all of us.
Phoenix was cremated and his ashes were scattered at his family ranch in My Canopy, Florida. Following his death, Alika's attic disbanded.
One thing that wasn't added here was his last movie was about a younger male prostitute that was a drug addict living on the streets of Portland, I believe. And they think that he kind of got, because it was kind of like his life before he became famous, and so they think that he kind of digressed. He started experimenting on the drugs that the character would have done, and just kind of started to digress into his way.
That's sad.
Just like the Joker, stuff. People get so much into their role that, Heath Ledger and everybody, when they take on those characters, that's what a good character actor is. Robin Williams, too, they take on those characters, they are those characters during the filming process, and sometimes it's hard to get back from that.
Yeah, Heath Ledger actually said in an interview that doing Hard Candy and then doing the Joker, both of them just, messed with his head.
Mm-hmm. He literally kind of went crazy like the Joker for a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a favorite movie of River Phoenix?
Stand By Me.
Me too. I have to say that.
Definitely Stand By Me.
Like, subscribe, and share, please, you guys. Be safe for Halloween. Tomorrow we're doing Houdini. Of course, because it'll be Halloween by the time this comes up. Houdini's you have to do is on Halloween because that's when you're supposed to do a seance and stuff, which we'll get into. I wish we could do the seance, but
Yeah, we're not doing a seance.
why not?
Tommy doesn't want to do seance.
Anyways,
Every time-
tell her everybody have done seances. His wife did seances.
Tommy believes that every time you do a seance, you're bringing spirits into the world, and nobody really knows how to close them out. Just like the Ouija
Yes,
board, you
there
have to
is.
know how to close it out.
Yeah.
Every time I've seen a seance, something bad happens.
In movies.
In real life, too.
Anyway, you guys, like, subscribe, and share.
Ignore your
See you guys
fiance.
later.